All right, Stanford Stadium here in Northern California, and we're ready to kick off the 2016 college football season on FS1 as the Kansas State Wildcats out of the Big 12 coming to town to take on the Stanford Cardinal out of the Pac-12. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt. And welcome to Stanford, California. We are excited to kick off this new college football season. The usual suspects are already there. That's Alabama right. Looking to reload, coming off a national championship. Clemson, Oklahoma, Florida State, LSU, Ohio State, and the Michigan Wolverines ready to make a splash. What are your thoughts as we kick off this season?
Questions. Everybody has huge question marks. All the teams that you listed have question marks either in terms of experience, lack thereof, lack of quarterback experience. Stanford's no different, but that means that you can come from anywhere and win a national championship, make a playoff push. Stanford's looking to do that. They tried last year but lost their opening game to Northwestern. That proved costly. They didn't make the playoff. They've had the sense of urgency of the playoff all offseason because this game they're not going to let drop from under them like they did week 1 last year.
All right, so Stanford finishing ranked 3rd in the nation a year ago. One reason they have a dynamic, an electric, a boy wonder in Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey is the most complete player in the country. He's so good in between the tackles. He's got great feel for the position. First, it's his vision. He understands how to see tight spaces, get skinny, and then he can lower his pads and get into the end zone. He's got great patience as well. He sets up his blockers, doesn't make cuts until his offensive line makes contact, and then he's explosive. In the open field, he is a threat to take it the distance at any moment. He is one of the best players in the country, and his quarterbacks are going to need him tonight. Two very inexperienced players. Ryan Burns will get the start, number 17, a senior, but Keller Chris, the junior, number 10, will play. These two just have to deal the cards because when number 5's behind you, all you got to do, Gus, is drive the ship.
All right, Kansas State beset by injuries. 1 year ago, they finished 6-7, their first losing season since 2005. However, they returned 17 starters, and you know that Bill Snyder is going to have this team ready to play.
This guy is a Hall of Famer, and I think this is the prototypical Bill Snyder team that overachieves. This is the type of team I could easily see win 8 or 9 games. Now, he's also dealing with some question marks, namely at the quarterback position. He's going to go with Jesse Ertz, who lost his season a year ago in the first series of the opener. He's back. He's a captain. We will see multiple quarterbacks play for the Wildcats, but this is an experienced team on defense that's looking to right the ship.
Time now to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline, Shannon Spake.
Hey there, Gus. You know, folks around here are so excited that number 5 is back on the field. But there's another X factor in this game tonight, and that's Kansas State's Dante Barnett. You know, he sat out all of last season after being injured in game number 1. And he said sitting on that bench, watching his team struggle all season long, was kind of like being locked in a house and watching your little brother get beat up outside. He didn't like it. I saw him pregame. He was standing in the middle of the field. He was singing so loud that I could hear him on the sideline. And he told me his message to the guys right as they came out of the locker room would be, guys, the lights are on.
All right, thank you very much. Let's check out the 4 keys to the game. What are you thinking, Joel?
It's all about Christian McCaffrey. He's the best player in the game. He might be the best player in the country. So for Kansas State, you've got to make anybody else beat you. The young quarterbacks beat you, the other wide receivers that are unproven. And for Stanford, it's get him the ball. However you can possibly get him the ball. Bryce Love, one of their electric running backs, is not going to be playing in this game. That means McCaffrey's going to have an increased workload. Gus, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him touch the ball 40 times tonight.
All right, Kansas State won the toss, deferred. Stanford to receive. There's Christian McCaffrey. He broke Barry Sanders' NCAA record for most all-purpose yards in a single season by over 600 yards with 3,864. And he's ready to return. Ian Patterson will send it away, and we're underway. Line drive kick. Fielded on the bounce at the 10-yard line by McCaffrey. And McCaffrey gets to the 25, breaks the tackle, still on the move, crosses the 35-yard line up to the 37, a 28-yard return. So a couple of things you want to know as this one gets going.
The identity of the Stanford Cardinal has been so strong since David Shaw has become the head coach. 3 out of 4 Pac-12 titles. They need to maintain that. Intellectual brutality is what they call it. And for Kansas State, They've got levels on their defense, quality talent on every level. It's so important in their defensive structure. Defensive line, Jordan Willis, Elijah Lee, the linebacker, and as Shannon pointed out, Dante Barnett in the back end as a safety.
So first down and 10 at the 36 for Ryan Burns, the new quarterback at Stanford. McCaffrey right next to him. And they'll give it to him running over the right side. McCaffrey crosses the 40 up to the 41. Moore with the tackle. So, new quarterback, Kevin Hogan gone, 5th round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. Ryan Burns from Leesburg, Virginia. 6'5", 218. Named the Stanford starter 9 days ago over Keller Christ, who was last year's number 2 behind Hogan. Second down and 4 at the 42. They line up McCaffrey as a receiver at the top of your screen. Empty backfield for Burns. He'll throw it. Far side, caught. And it's McCaffrey. He'll pick up the first down as he gets to midfield. Elijah Lee with the tackle. What do you think of this kid, Ryan Burns?
Well, I love what he did there on his first pass attempt. That showed me a lot of moxie, as if he's very calm. Listen, my first start in college football, I was about ready to throw up all over my shoes, but he very quickly moves in the pocket, finds his best player, throws an accurate ball to Christian McCaffrey, and moves the chain. So far, so good for Ryan Burns.
First down and 10 at midfield. Opening drive for Stanford. Here's the pitch. McCaffrey taking his time, and he's chopped down on the right side. Dante Burnett, the senior from Tulsa, coming up and making the tackle.
This is what they were missing a year ago as an enforcer in the secondary. So many injuries. One of those injuries was Dante Barnett. From all the way at depth, meaning back all the way on the 3rd level, he finds himself in the backfield making a tackle for loss on one of the most explosive players in the country. This guy is a difference maker, a 3-time team captain for Kansas State.
Second down and long. Cardinal need 15 at the 45. Marks and McCaffrey line up in the I formation. Owusu is the motion man. He'll line up as the wingback. They give it to McCaffrey. Looking, bounces it outside, tries to tiptoe up the sideline, and he'll cross into Kansas State territory. Kendall Adams there to push him out of bounds. But you're talking about Kansas State and all those injuries. Nevertheless, they finished with 6 wins and made a bowl game for the 6th straight year, losing to Arkansas 45-23 in the Liberty Bowl.
And 6 wins in 3 of their losses. They were within a score or had the lead against 10-win teams in the 4th quarter.
Third down and 6 at the 46. Burns may have to let this one fly out of the shotgun now. Daniel Marks lines up next to him. Here's Burns to throw. Steps into it and delivers. First down, Cardinal. That's Trenton Irwin, the sophomore from Valencia, California. Nice hands as he gains 9.
As a play caller, you can help out a young quarterback by giving him some of the most simple reads that you can possibly give him, like a curl route. And that's what David Shaw does for Ryan Burns on his first 3rd down pass attempt of his college career. An easy curl route to the best route runner that Stanford has, and it's an easy completion.
First down and 10 at the 37, opening drive for Stanford. McCaffrey, the deep man, out of the eye. Here's McCaffrey. They run the reverse. Rector, he's got blinding speed. Bottled up and slammed down. Great job. Will Geary, the junior from Topeka, Kansas, comes up and makes the tackle. Geary, an Outland Trophy watch list in preseason All Big 12.
This is the bad part about giving a speedster the ball as a runner, is a lot of times they don't have the patience. Watch right here. Rector should set up the block at this point, allow contact to happen, and then cut off of that contact. He runs right into the defender. That's at times what a wide receiver will do when running the football.
Only a 1-yard gain. Second down and 9 at the 36. McCaffrey straight ahead. Bottled up and taken down inside the 35. Geary, first man to him. And Geary, a very interesting player, former walk-on, started 12 games as a sophomore and had 45 tackles.
He's all Big 12 team in that year. But now another 3rd down. David Shaw went with a simple pass play on the last 3rd down, a curl route to Trent Irwin.
Okay. And Burns handing this off to Scarlett around the corner, and he is tackled for a loss. Dante Barnett Nicely done.
What happened is there was an illegal substitution on the previous third down. And so that's where the flag came out. They replayed the down there at 3rd and 2. And then Barnett makes another great play. We saw him come up, make a tackle for loss on Christian McCaffrey. He stopped that screen pass and was deep, and now a tackle for loss again.
So Conrad Ukropina in to attempt a 49-yarder. He was the man that hit the game-winning 45-yard field goal as time expired that beat Notre Dame last year, 38-36, right here. Ukropina from Pasadena. And it's good. 50 yards officially for Conrad Ukropina. And the Cardinals are on the board. So Ryan Burns with a successful first drive.
This is a drive. Trust me, he's going to remember forever. He's going to remember Conrad Ukropina from Pasadena hits the 50-yard field goal on his first possession.
Paid it off for him. Kansas State ready to receive. Dominique Heath, Byron Pringle, number 9, back deep. Keep your eye on Pringle. They feel that he can be the next Tyler Lockett. And Pringle will bring it out of the end zone. Gets to the 10. And Pringle will be taken down as he gets close to the 20-yard line. So a couple of things you need to know when Kansas State has the football.
Well, we're going to start right there with number 9, Byron Pringle. High expectations for this junior college transfer from Butler Community College. He's bigger than Tyler Lockett at 6'2", but everybody is talking about his ability on the outside. They need it desperately because the wide receiver position was not quite up to par a year ago. And then on the defense, Solomon Thomas has to bring this defense back to what they were a couple of years ago, that fear the tree type of defense. They must improve. Too many big plays a year ago. The secondary did not get their hands on enough footballs. They've got to get more turnovers. It starts with Solomon Thomas up front.
First down and 10 of the 26. Charles Jones in the backfield. And they'll give it to Jones on first down. Not a lot of room as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Harrison Phillips with the tackle. But I tell you what, Ertz, a heck of a player coming out of the state of Iowa. He was the state of Iowa's player of the year in 2012. Redshirted at Kansas State in 13. Saw action in 4 games in 14.
It's also pretty fast. Gus won a state championship in the 4x100 in 2012, but we'll see how that knee injury from last year affects him.
Second down and 10 at the 26. Stanford showing blitz. Here they come. Ertz, first throw, almost picked off. Intended for Pringle, but Reed stepped in.
I think that Justin Reed, number 8, he's the safety, right side of your screen. I think the sun gets in his eyes because it looks like he wasn't able to locate the football because he's right there, and you see how he's trying to bat it down. He didn't see the ball. If he sees the ball and the sun's not in his eyes, that's probably ends up in the other end zone for 6 for the Cardinals.
Third down and 10 of the 26. Ertz to throw it. And now with a huge land, and he's got speed. Ertz to the 40, and he gets out of bounds at the 45. A first down for Stanford, a 19-yard gain.
That'll calm your nerves down. Jesse Ertz is looking to the left side. He wants to make a read on that side of the field, but as he does that, the entire defense for Stanford flows over to their right, leaves the entire right side of the field vacated. Ertz takes advantage for an easy conversion, moves the chains. Some positive yardage here for Kansas State.
So first down at the 45. K-State trying to shake off some early jitters. And they'll hand it off to Jones. Nothing doing. Running over that right side. He stood up and taken down. Solomon Thomas with first contact.
You know, this offense is so young, and really that's epitomized by their offensive line. They're breaking in several new starters. They've got to find 5 guys that can match that identity up front.
All right, trips to the top of your screen. Pringle, Zuber, and Heath. Second and 8 at the 47. Ertz wants to run it. Ertz in trouble, breaks contain, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Chased out of bounds by a swarming Stanford defense. Okereke leading the charge.
We've already seen the Stanford team start applying more pressure. Last year up front, they really were only 3 deep for their 3 defensive linemen. Now they've got a rotation of 6 that they believe in, and it's for these types of situations. Long yardage, obvious passing down situations. They need to get to the quarterback more frequently than they did a year ago.
Here's Ertz to throw it. Up the sideline, he's got a receiver. And incomplete. Byron Pringle, the intended receiver. That ball broken up at the last moment. Terrific defense. Quentin Meeks gained ground while the ball was in the air.
Pringle did an excellent job of getting space late, right? Just a little bit of a shove, nothing that's going to draw a flag, and tries to get the space, but Meeks gets back into the play, gets a hand up into the catching zone, and bats it away.
Christian McCaffrey stands at his own 10. Nick Walsh, who's on the Ray Guy Award watch list for the 2nd straight year, will punt it from the 32. And he drives this one. McCaffrey fields it inside the 5. McCaffrey stays on his feet. McCaffrey flag on the play at the 20, brings it inside. He's got breakaway speed. Christian McCaffrey down the sideline. We've got our first Mac attack. 96 yards if it stands.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. Penalty enforced for the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Curtis Robinson with the block in the back. There it is right there.
Just barely, just with his hands, but I mean, I know this is coming back, but did you just see Christian McCaffrey on that play? This kid, 3,864 all-purpose yards, NCAA single-season record-breaking Barry Sanders, and I say give it to him again right here.
First down at the 2-yard line for Stanford. Owusu in motion. McCaffrey straight ahead. Trying to get a little bit of room, but he runs right into Elijah Lee.
Elijah Lee comes in with 9.5 career sacks. Honorable mention, All Big 12 his freshman year in 2014. Second team All Big 12 a year ago. He's on the Bednarik list, Nagurski list, Butkus list. This guy understands how to play the game. Led the team with 80 tackles a year ago. He's one of those players that has to have a big season for Kansas State this year.
Second down and 8 at the 4 for Stanford. McCaffrey again, picking his way through the hole across the 5. Luke Geary will bring him down.
Boy, this would just be huge for Kansas State to force the punt. The goal of a series like this, these are the games within a game, Gus. You're backed up inside your 5-yard line as an offense. The entire goal of the possession is to get a couple first downs to change the field position. This would be a huge win if Dante Barnett and his defense can get off the field and force a punt because of where they would be setting up their offense on this field.
The Cardinal converted 3rd downs at a 50% clip a season ago, 6th best in FBS. 3rd down and 5 at the 7. Burns to throw it. And it's a first down and even more as they get the football to the 20-yard line. And a nice catch by Greg DeBwauda, the backup tight end.
6'5". He's this prototypical Stanford tight end, the mismatches that they've got going on. But even on 3rd and 5, because of the threat that is Christian McCaffrey, they can still use play action pass. They put the fake on that left side of the defense. Greg DeBwauda gets himself free, and Ryan Burns with another 3rd down completion.
Burns off to a good start. Perfect so far. 3 of 3 for 29 yards. First down and 10 of the 19. Stanford with some breathing room. Burns steps up in the pocket, wants to run it, and will crawl forward, getting to the 24 as Sir Michael Moore makes the tackle. I think he may have the coolest name in all of college football.
Say it again.
Sir Michael.
That's so good. Sir Michael Moore, 228 pounds, senior from Dallas, Texas. You know, he missed most of 2014 with an injury, but he did play 12 games last year, averaged 10.8 tackles per game in the last 4. So he's playing his best football at the end of the year. They were hoping that it was going to carry forward into this season as well.
2nd and 6 at the 23. McCaffrey, the lone setback. Here's McCaffrey again, and he goes nowhere. He runs into a wall. Kendall Adams, Will Geary, both jumping on him.
This is exactly what is so maddening. Thank you, partner. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You're the wordsmith. About facing Kansas State's defense is the safeties are so active when they're trying to get into that run box, which we've seen on multiple occasions now, stopping Stanford near the line of scrimmage.
McCaffrey, the receiver. Burns with time. Underneath and caught. Tabuada again finds a soft spot, and he has a football at the Kansas State 40-yard line. That's a 25-yard gain.
Big league throw from Ryan Burns. He is not open right there. That is as small a window as you're going to get in college football, and he threw an absolute dime over the middle. That's a layered pass. It means it's got to go over the linebacker Elijah Lee, but in front of the safety, number 21, Kendall Adams. That's as tough as it comes, and Ryan Burns executes it beautifully.
Perfect so far. 5 of 5 for 69 yards. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Stanford with a 3-0 lead, but the Cardinal driving the football. Stanford had the 2nd highest time of possession in FBS last year, and they controlled the first quarter, eating up almost 12 minutes. First down and 10 to the 40-yard line. Play fake. Burns dropping back deep, going for it all. He's got a Rector wide open. Touchdown, Cardinal. Michael Rector in the Rose Bowl win over Iowa. He had a 42 and a 31-yard touchdown.
You see number 22, Dante Barnett. He comes on the blitz. They've been doing that all day long, and Rector runs right by the corner. They say he picked up some serious speed in the offseason, and he showed some off there for the touchdown.
So Ukropina comes on to attempt the extra point, and it's good. 40-yard touchdown for Rector. 10 plays covering 98 yards for the Cardinal. Eating up 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Michael Rector, the speedster from Burns, who's looked sensational to start. Ryan Burns, what a start in his first start. 6 of 6, 109 yards and a touchdown. As you take a look at the scoring drive, Stanford taking a 10-0 lead. And here's a kid that ran the triple option in high school.
The old shotgun wing tee, snapped it to his hip. In fact, he had so much trouble with the snap from under center when he got here. You know, his redshirt year, that's basically all he worked on. He's taking the snap from the center because he had never done that in high school.
Jake Bailey will send it away. Dominic Heath, Byron Pringle back. And Pringle will take a knee. So Kansas State with some work to do now. First down and 10 at their own 25 for Jesse Ertz. Here's Ertz handing it off on first down, and Kansas State with some running room as Dalvin Warmack will pick up 7 yards. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Hey, Gus, that Stanford touchdown certainly gave a little pep to this defense. You know, the defensive backs coach, he was talking to his guys, and he said, how is Ertz on his eyes? He was just coaching him up. He said he's very heavy on his eyes. Keep that in mind.
2nd down and 3 at the 32. Warmack in motion out of the backfield. Ertz steps up in the pocket with running room. Ertz crosses the 35. Nice little wiggle outside, and he'll get even more yardage. A gain of 11 yards for Jesse Ertz. Remember, he won that state championship in Iowa in the 4x100.
I was curious to see how he was confidence-wise on that knee after tearing the MCL in the first series of the first game a year ago. And Gus, every series that he's been out, and I know it's only now his 9th snap of the game, but it seems like he's getting more confidence and more confidence in the health of his knee.
1st down and 10 at the 43. And they hand it off to Silman. Tries to break it back. Not a lot of room. As Nord Davis, first man to him. And that completed pass, the play before last, by Jesse Ertz, was the first completion of his college career.
Well, and he'll always remember that. There's no doubt. But it'll also calm him down. You know, you're always waiting for that as a quarterback in order to calm your nerves, calm your breathing down a little bit. There's no doubt that he has settled into this game.
2nd down and 7 at the 40. Play fake. Ertz rolls out of the pocket with room, taking his time, and Ertz tracked down from behind by Jordan Watkins, the 5th-year man from Decatur, Georgia. And that is a loss of 1 on the play. And there's the inexperience right there. He's got to get rid of that football.
He's got to throw that one away and maintain that 3rd and 5 rather than this 3rd and 8.
From the 41. Here's Ertz with time. Near side, caught, but not enough for a 1st down as Dominique Keith hauls it in, but he's wrestled to the ground by Hoffpower.
Zach Hoffpower, a senior, did not play football last year. Gus, he was in the minor leagues, playing in the Pioneer League, playing baseball. Now he's back, loving life, the character of this defense. But they're going to have to line up and play it again because Bill Snyder is going to keep his offense on the field, and he's going to go for it. Although at times they like to pooch kick in this situation. That's something they've always used throughout the years.
Let's see if Jesse Ertz will do it with the ball to the 35-yard line out of the shotgun. 4th down and 2. Zuber, the motion man. Here's Ertz. Looking, Ertz pumping, breaks a tackle, trying to create, and will not get the 1st down as he stopped at the 35 by Solomon Thomas on 4th down and 2.
Boy, Solomon Thomas so strong and quick. Ertz had nowhere to go. Kansas State gives the ball over on downs, and we'll find out who the quarterback is. We'll come back 10-0 Stanford.
Keller Chris now comes in at quarterback for Stanford. He's faced with a 1st down and 10 to the 35. Burns on the sideline. He's perfect, 6 of 6, 109 yards. But Coach Shaw telling us he wants to get both quarterbacks some experience. So Chris in the shotgun on 1st down. And he'll throw it. With time over the middle. McCaffrey with the catch. Runs in to an official. Close to a 1st down for Christian McCaffrey. Why do you do something like this?
You know,
when your quarterback, your starter, is perfect, 6 of 6.
I think we use the term starter maybe loosely, you know, and I believe that this is a competition that has bled into the season, and that David Shaw is still evaluating these quarterbacks. And I wouldn't have done it. If I'm the head coach, I'm going with that. This is game time. It's live. These are live bullets. You lost the first game of the year last year. It's only 10-0. There's no reason to mess with the rhythm, but they've decided to do it.
And McCaffrey Running it straight ahead. He'll pick up 3 yards on the play. Stanford losing that first game in Evanston against Northwestern.
You know, you don't know how rhythm is going to be affected. McCaffrey has not gotten his rhythm going running the football, and Burns had his rhythm going, was perfect throwing the ball. So to mess with that, to tinker with that, sometimes I think you can overthink it as a coach.
Marks and McCaffrey in the I formation. McCaffrey looking to get loose. Kansas State has done a nice job on him so far. They hand it to him over the left side, breaks it inside, and they pick up a first down. Remember last year in that 16-6 loss to Northwestern, McCaffrey, 12 carries, 66 yards, really never got going offensively.
It's got that feel a little bit. He had the punt return called back, but this shake is just so sudden. Donnie Starks, number 10, the nickelback, no chance in the open field. I don't know if anybody in the country has a shot against number 5 in the midfield.
2015 AP Player of the Year, according to some of the defenders for Kansas State. He's got good jukes. They'll give it to him straight ahead with running room, and he'll spin down at the 35. Reggie Walker with the tackle.
This offensive line starting to form their identity. You can see it. The hole's becoming a little bigger. They're getting a little bit more movement up the line of scrimmage. Jesse Burkett, Casey Tucker, David Bright, A.T. Hall. These guys have a long-standing tradition to fulfill of very good and physical offensive lines for the Stanford Cardinals.
Second down and 3. Under 8 minutes to play in the second quarter. McCaffrey. Ooh, what a step! McCaffrey changes hands down the sideline. Touchdown, Stanford, 35 yards. He does have good jukes, Joe Platt.
Well, Kendall Adams just had a front row seat. Here's number 21. He's going to be the one with a chance. As McCaffrey breaks through the line, there's the patience, and then bang, he pops it off to the right side. He moved exactly parallel after going full speed. That's incredible.
Christian McCaffrey. Some are comparing him to a LaDainian Tomlinson, a Marshall Faulk. You'd be surprised at his size. He's 6 feet, 200 pounds. And he's got feline quickness. Ask the Wildcats. Christian McCaffrey with a 35-yard touchdown. Stanford now 3 scores and 3 possessions. And McCaffrey on his simple approach. I don't want to overcomplicate things, he said. My goal is to get as many yards as I can on every play, score as many touchdowns as I can, and for us to win as many games as we can. And Kansas State takes a knee. Pringle will start at their own 33. A minute and 43 remaining. 1 timeout left. Ertz. Now Ertz tucks it and runs. And Ertz crosses the 45 and gets the midfield for the first down.
Stanford dropped everybody deep into coverage. Nowhere to go with the football. And Ertz, this is a great decision. Just rushing 3, and he finds a hole. There's double coverage down the field. He's able to get all the way up for a first down.
16-yard gain. First down and 10 to the 49. Ertz, far side, and incomplete. Pringle, the intended receiver, looks like he ran the wrong route, according to his quarterback.
You know, when both guys are essentially making their first start, you don't know which one was wrong. It could have been the quarterback. I usually side with the quarterback, but you never know. Byron Pringle, Butler Community College, really talented player. Had 28 grabs last year in junior college. 9 of them went for touchdowns. Explosive down the field.
Second down and 10 to the 49. Ertz under pressure, reverses his field, throws on the run. Looks like it is caught. Burnett.
I think they're going to say he was out of bounds here, and not give it to him. They're signaling incomplete, but he's trying to bring that ball in. Looks like a catch to me. There's a lot of his body inbounds, but the head linesman right away coming in saying incomplete. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they took another look at this one.
3rd down and 6 at the 47. 41 seconds remaining. Here's Ertz, drops it off. He's got Charles Jones. Jones with a lot of running room, and he's finally knocked out of bounds at the 25 by Hoffpower. Clock stops with 27 seconds left.
Ben Edwards, number 9, he was screaming up from his safety spot. They sent an all-out blitz, and he ran right by the running back. And in one-on-one coverage, that spells the end. Big play for Kansas State. Excellent job by Ertz.
24-yard gain. 1st down and 10 to the 23. Ertz to throw again in the end zone. Incomplete, and a flag on the play. He certainly was held. Isaiah Zuber, the intended receiver. And this time, Elijah Holder will be flagged for interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 13. The penalty be enforced at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
Holder just got caught in poor position. He was out of position with his body. His back was to the inside of the field, and as Zuber then crossed his shoulder, all he could do was reach out and grab him. Clearly an interference there. Excellent call by the officials.
So Kansas State with the golden opportunity here. 22 seconds left. They still have a timeout remaining. As Bill Snyder looks through his playbook. 1st down and goal at the 8-yard line. Ertz, near side, and incomplete. Intended for Pringle.
Quentin Meeks, just excellent coverage all over Pringle. And this is the toughest route to defend. And excuse me, that's Alameen Murphy, number 23. He tips that ball up in the air. That's just a fade stop, so it looks like Pringle's going to go to the back corner, and then he just stops. The ball is thrown. He's able to still cover it.
2nd down and goal to the 13-yard line. Ertz with time in the end zone. Incomplete. Isaiah Zuber, closest man to the ball. That brings up 3rd down and goal.
Well, this defense certainly feels like the strength of their defense is in their secondary. They run too deep back there. Big, fast, tall corners, experienced safeties that understand the game. Zach Hoffpower, 202 pounds, and they've got a huge 3rd down here.
From the 13. Ertz under pressure to the corner. Incomplete. And no flag. Pringle falling down.
There's Pringle at the top of your screen, working against Elijah Holder again. That's absolutely a penalty on the defense. He tackled him in the end zone. How is there not a flag on the field? If I was a Kansas State fan, I would be absolutely livid. Elijah Holder just tackled the receiver in the end zone.
Can't believe it. Matthew McCrane has made 14 field goals in a row going back to 2014. If he makes this one, he'll tie the school record of 15 set by Jamie Ream. It's up and good. So Matthew McCrane ties the school record with his 15th consecutive field goal. More importantly, Kansas State gets on the board. Remember, the Wildcats won 3 games last year when trailing at halftime, beating Louisiana Tech, Iowa State, and West Virginia. 17-3. Now let's send you to Rob Stone in the studio. And right now, the Cardinal, with a 17-3 advantage as we prepare for the second half here in Stanford. Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt, but that could have had a different outcome in the first half.
I was just going to say, it sounds like they dominated. We were one play away from being a 10-point game, or in a one-score game. That was a blatant hold in the end zone. If I'm a Kansas State fan, I'm probably still upset about it. And they got away with it. Speaking of Stanford, and Kansas State had to settle for a field goal. That's a huge point in this ball game, in particular with the style that Kansas implores on offense.
Kansas State.
Kansas State, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. You're right. First game, right? They have to get over that. And it's in particular their quarterback, Jesse Ertz. If he can come out and establish that same rhythm that he had late in the second half, second quarter, then they're going to have something going offensively.
I thought Jesse, in his first big-time start, in which he's played considerable amount of time, did a very solid job. He did some very nice things out there.
I did too. I really loved what he was able to do with his feet, because I felt like that settled him down and that got the rhythm of the offense going. And ultimately, that's what set him up for what I thought should have been a touchdown, but that was negated by the hold in the end zone that was not called.
So Kansas State receiving to start the second half, and they'll start from their own 25-yard line after the field goal to end the first half. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
And Gus, Joel, Bill Snyder, he also echoed that thought about Jesse Ertz. He said he did like what he saw. He does want to see a little bit better decision making. And as for that defense, he said we have got to be better on third down, and we have to stop number 5. Now for the other side, Stanford will continue to see both quarterbacks in the can we finish this game? We played 30 minutes. What's the next 30 going to look like?
All right, thank you very much. David Shaw has to be pleased with what he's seen thus far. Now Ertz looking to run it. Bottled up. Tries to get outside. Flag on the play. Kalambayi, closest defender for Stanford. And it's a holding penalty against K-State.
That's going to be number 62, Tyler Mitchell, the left guard.
Holding. Offense. Number 62. Penalty is declined. Second out.
And not a good sign. Ertz still on the ground right now.
And we haven't seen a lot of this vintage Kansas State quarterback run because of Ertz and his knee. They didn't want to subject him to some of these hits after the ACL injury a year ago. And now he's down, and it looks like they're stretching his legs out.
So Hubner will come in for at least one play. Senior. As Ertz jogs off the field. Joe Hubner, former walk-on who started those 11 games, as you mentioned, Joe, last year.
And he had him in position to beat TCU. He had him in position to beat Oklahoma State at times, even Baylor. So he's got the experience. 22 total touchdowns in 2015, third most among FBS quarterbacks.
Second down and 14 at the 34. And Hubner will throw. Hubner winding up down the field, and he throws a pick as soon as he gets in. Dallas Lloyd trying to bring it back. Lloyd with blockers. And Lloyd out of bounds at the Kansas State 40. Wow. A 26-yard return. And that is the first turnover of the game.
I am shocked that they threw a pass, in particular that pass. Ertz hasn't even been able to stretch the ball down the field. Hubner, who struggled so much throwing the ball a year ago, was more of a running threat. You would have thought that they would have just gone right back to their quarterback counter, which is their bread and butter, with Joe Hubner, who did that all season. So a turnover, and a crucial one, given a short field to Stanford, who offensively really hasn't been stopped by Kansas State all night long.
So Stanford on the field for the first time here in the second half. First down and 10 to the 27. Simple gain. Right, partner? Here's McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey going down. Reggie Walker gets him from behind.
I thought it was a great moment that David Shaw spoke to us about. Before spring practice, he brought both quarterbacks up, Keller Chris as well as Ryan Burns, and he said in front of the team to these two players, all you have to do is fulfill a role. You're not here to be a star. And then he looked at the team and he said, you're here to help them out. You've got to do your job and make it easy on them. And that's what we're seeing so far here in this first game.
Second down and 5. McCaffrey fumbled ball. Loose. Picked up by Kansas State. And here they go. Moore down the sideline. Kansas State looking for a break. Moore breaks it inside. side, but he stepped out of bounds at the 29. Jordan Willis dislodging the football. So Michael Moore steps out of bounds at the Stanford 29-yard line.
This is the problem with the quarterback exchange with the running back. He's trying to read the play and then run with the ball, and McCaffrey just squeezed a little bit too hard. He's got to be decisive. Decisiveness is the key to the quarterback run game. Give it or take it, but you've got to be sure of the ball security. And Michael Moore looks like he's going to have a touchdown right here, but there's his right foot just hitting the paint, and they bring it all the way back. So about the 29-yard line, like you said. What a great break for Kansas State, and Michael Moore capitalizes, taking it all the way down inside the 30.
Hubner, a very solid running quarterback. He'll throw it to the far side, caught, Pringle, and a first down. I'll tell you what, you've got to have some courage.
That's right.
To do something like that.
Yeah, and big credit to Joe Hubner. I mean, loses the job of the quarterback position to Ertz, throws a pick on his very first play when Ertz is struggling with cramps, and then he comes back right away in a big third down against a very good defense, and he throws a strike for a conversion. That's moxie. Well done.
A 14-yard gain, first down and 10 at the Stanford 17. Now Hubner running, and Hubner tackled from behind by Harrison Phillips.
And you can see why that lack of a holding call / pass interference at the end of the half is so big, because this offense is not built for big plays and explosion plays. It should be 17-7 right now.
Hubner rushed for 613 yards and 13 touchdowns last year. He had a 111-yard rushing game and 4 TDs against TCU. Second and 10. And they'll hand it off to Jones. And you have to like the way the interior line is played tonight against Kansas State if you're Stanford.
Yep. Solomon Thomas, Harrison Phillips, Dylan Jackson, Eric Cotton, Jordan Watkins. This defensive front was not very good, and they're replacing Blake Martinez. Remember the linebacker, he had 141 tackles last year, so they were wondering where that production was going to come from. Right now, collectively, they've been playing very good so far.
Martinez now playing with the Green Bay Packers. Second and 6 at the 13. Make that third and 6, excuse me. Here's Hubner, near side, incomplete. Dominique Keith, the intended receiver.
Excellent coverage from Justin Reed. Another big, tall secondary player, 6'1". But as he's coming off that corner position, he's right there. Dallas Lloyd in on that play as well, forcing another field goal.
So Matthew McCrane going for a new school record. He's hit 15 in a row. This one from 30 yards away. And it's good. Kansas State will take the points. 7:39 to play third quarter, 17-6. So McCrane sets the school record now, 16 consecutive free throws in basketball mode. Field goals.
It's the first game for everybody, right?
My goodness. McCaffrey back deep. This one kicked short. They're trying to keep it away from him. And Stanford will start from the 25 as Cameron Scarlett returns it. And that will end the third quarter. Fourth quarter coming up right after this. Start of the fourth quarter. Stanford on top of Kansas State 17-6. Their offense has been sputtering as of late as McCaffrey crosses the 30 and gets up to the 32-yard line. Reggie Walker brings him down.
Outside of a couple of snaps in those first 3 drives, this Kansas State defense has been so good and so effective, maintaining their discipline and tackling well in space.
Second down and 4 at the 31. McCaffrey again hopping, and he will be tackled for a loss by Elijah Lee. This Kansas State defense very confident now, taking on one of the best offensive players in the nation in Christian McCaffrey.
And they wanted the challenge. Speaking with some of their players during the course of the week, Elijah Lee in particular said, hey, you want to see the best players in the country because you want to be tested. Well, they've been tested tonight and they've answered that bell. This Kansas State defense has played remarkably well and have another chance to get off the field on a third down.
Third down and 4 at the 31. This would be huge for the Kansas State defense if they get off the field. Low snap, Burns underneath, and a first down. Dalton Schultz with the reception, an 8-yard gain. Last season he had 10 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. He's considered the next great Stanford tight end. Preseason first team all Pac-12. He's also on the Mackey Award watch list.
And another great decision by Ryan Burns. 12 of 13 so far in the game.
First down at the 39. Burns delayed handoff. McCaffrey, and he goes nowhere. Reggie Walker first man to him. And they're daring Christian McCaffrey to run the football now.
Well, they're just beating the offensive line. You know, this defensive front seven for Kansas State had that one run that McCaffrey got loose, gets it into the end zone, but they have been spectacular. They're so difficult to face. A Bill Snyder coach defense is so difficult to face because they never get out of position. They never provide you an opportunity. They're so disciplined, and they're showing that tonight.
Let's see if Stanford tries to loosen up this Kansas State defense by taking a shot. Second and 11 at the 38. Rector already has a 40-yard touchdown. Here's Burns. Steps up and incomplete to Bouda, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up third down and long.
This defense has not had to blitz. They haven't had to pressure much. Their safeties have been spectacular. Dante Barnett and Kendall Adams. And now another chance to get off the field. Their defensive line is winning the battle right now against the Stanford offensive line. And providing a little pressure here will go a long way.
Rector, the receiver at the top of your screen. He's the speedster. Third down and 11. Burns under pressure, underneath. Rector with the catch, but Rector tackled immediately, and Stanford will have to punt it away again.
Duke Shelley, perfect position. Once again, disciplined football, exactly where he's supposed to be. Burns makes the right read, gets it to Rector, but the defense is just better, and they get off the field again. What a remarkable second half for this Kansas State defense.
So Jake Bailey will punt it away from the 30. Dominique Heath, Byron Pringle back deep for Kansas State. Pringle will get a chance from the 10. Stop and start. Tries to get down the sideline and is tripped up at the 15. A 47-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Jesse Ertz back on the field. 17-6 Stanford, but I tell you what, the Kansas State defense playing extremely well. They forced Stanford into 3 punts and a fumble in the last 4 possessions, but the big question is, can their offense pay it off and put some points on the board?
The last time they were on the field, they had their most successful drive of the night. They ended in a missed field goal, but it was 15 plays long.
First down and 10 at the 15. Silman. And he'll run right, pick up a couple. 10 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, opening game for these two teams.
You know, quarterback decisions are nuanced things, and we've seen rhythm leave these offense based on who's in at quarterback and what drive it is. Now all of a sudden Ertz is back in at quarterback for Kansas State, and Huebner just had a fairly successful drive, and so these coaches toying with the rhythm of their entire team with some of these decisions.
Second and 7. Huebner looking, He goes up the sideline and intercepted. Make that Ertz. Ertz throwing the pick as Quentin Meeks brings it down. Here come the Cardinal. Burns throwing under pressure and incomplete. Trenton Irwin, the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been talking about they needed to do, is extend the defense. Try to get a ball deep down the field. Get the safeties out of there. It's been so tough for them to run the ball in this second half. They haven't had any room or space to get Christian McCaffrey loose.
Second down and 10 at the 48. Christian McCaffrey has rushed for 100 or more yards in 13 straight games. Here's McCaffrey looking, breaks it back, and dragged down from behind once again. Wow. Tanner Wood this time.
This is just a failure right here. It's a slip. Casey Tucker, he's going to just slip, fall down. Defensive lineman Tanner Wood just standing there unblocked. McCaffrey has no chance from the get-go on that play, and it brings up another 3rd and long. You're putting a lot of pressure on this young quarterback, Ryan Burns, to make big plays in a tough game.
3rd down and 11 at the 49. Play fake, Burns, incomplete to Browna. And Irwin, closest men to the football, and that's going to force Stanford to punt once again.
The effort from Davis Clark, Gus, is just so good. He's coming out, getting after the quarterback. There's no time for Ryan Burns to throw the ball. That's a no-chancer again. This offensive line just getting beat up front.
Jake Bailey will punt it from the 36. Heath, Pringle, the deep men for Kansas State. End over end kick. This usually bounces back in. And it doesn't, but is down inside the 5 at the 2-yard line. Bailey will get a game ball after this performance. 1st and 10 at the 2-yard line. And they throw it. Ertz got it away, and it's intercepted by Kevin Palma.
I don't think he was still up. I think that was a safety. They're calling it.
Was it the quarterback's knee was down? Safety.
He's going to be in the hands of the defensive lineman. Number 75, Jordan Watkins, is going to break through and then watch his knee. He doesn't, yeah, absolutely down. Ball still in his hands. Officials all over it. Absolutely a safety as Ertz is unable to get that ball off before he's sacked in the end zone.
7 sacks for Stanford tonight.
They have been all over those quarterbacks. That's one thing that they did not do a great job of, is put pressure on the quarterback a year ago. They wanted to get better at that. They've done that. They've established that in this game. 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. This defense has certainly returned to some of its form from 2 or 3 years ago when they were one of the top units in all the country, and certainly in this conference, the Pac-12.
19-6 Stanford, 4:11 to go in the 4th quarter. Stanford playing Kansas State this week. They'll have a bye next week, and then the rubber meets the road. Home against USC, on the road at UCLA and Washington.
But that's as tough a first 6 games as I've ever seen.
Here's a short kick. Kansas State trying to get the football back. So they fool Stanford on that with the onside kick and recovery.
Shouldn't have fooled him. It's absolutely what they should have been doing. That's number 46.
Kirby.
Jade Kirby, the linebacker, perfectly executed.
The Kansas State offense back on the field with 4:09 to go. Coach Snyder may have to really open it up now and throw the ball down the field. Hurts reversing, sets up, looking with time, and it is incomplete. Pringle just couldn't maintain control.
I've been impressed with him so far. He hasn't had a big night numbers-wise. Only one catch for 14 yards, but he's been thrown to 11 times. You understand that they're trying to get him the ball. They're trying to make him a focal point of this offense. Right now, they're just trying to figure out which quarterback that's going to be. I think it's going to be Ertz long-term. Hubner had the nice long drive. But at this point, they got to press this football down the field.
2nd and 10 at the 34. Ertz delivers, and it's caught. Deontay Burton.
They certainly will find an identity during the course of this season. Every Bill Snyder team does. But they've been tough and gritty, very disciplined in this game.
Although they have been penalized quite a bit tonight for a Bill Snyder team. 7 penalties for 40 yards. Third down and 3. Ertz lines up. And it's caught. Dominique Heath all the way down inside the Stanford 15, a 44-yard gain. Hoffpower with the saving tackle.
Absolutely the best pass of the night for Kansas State and Jesse Ertz. That was right on the money. Good coverage from Zach Hoffpower, who's right there, but the little bit of separation is what allowed that ball to drop in, and Dominique Heath gives a late hands, catches it late, perfectly done.
First down and 10 at the 15-yard line for Kansas State. No quit in these Wildcats. Ertz looking in the end zone, feels the pressure, spins, tries to square his shoulders, on the move, incomplete. Pringle, the intended receiver.
Have to get into the end zone, but you don't want to end the game prematurely with an interception. So a quality decision from Jesse Ertz there, just throwing it out of bounds. The matchup that they've had success with is their big wide receivers in the slot against number 10, Zach Hoffpower.
2nd and 10. Here's Ertz under pressure. And incomplete again. Charles Jones. Third down and 10 for Kansas State. 2:35 to go.
Gus, the inside breaking routes, the slant passes, the under routes. That's what they've had success with. This is a situation they absolutely have to have a conversion. Look for number 7, Isaiah Zuber. It's been excellent so far today.
3rd and 10. Here's Ertz looking. Flag on the play. Ertz just throws it up and out of bounds.
Holding. Offense, number 67. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Reed Niver, the center. So that'll make it 4th down and 10. Here's Ertz on 4th and 10. Looks in the end zone. Oh, what a catch! Did he get in? Yes, he did! Isaiah Zuber as Ertz puts that one in a shoebox. And with that touchdown, you can't help but to think about the 42-yard miss from Matthew McCrane.
A miss earlier. They had the no call at the end of the first half. Did he maintain possession? There's a foot. He's got control. Absolutely a catch. What a throw from Ertz. Maybe only topped by the catch by the redshirt freshman. Boy, excellent series there. 2 huge completions down the field. One to Heath, then the touchdown to Isaiah Zuber.
Extra point good. 19-13. A lot of time remaining. 2:20. Kansas State with 2 timeouts left. Kansas State with so much fight. Now down 19-13. McCrane, do you go for the onside kick here?
I think they might. You know, Stanford's so methodical. This defense has done a heck of a job. This would be a tough decision because the defense really has been sensational in stopping Christian McCaffrey. They have 2 timeouts left.
And here's the onside kick.
Didn't go 10 yards.
Didn't go 10 yards.
Rolling on the field was you had illegal touching. The kicking team recovered the ball before it had gone 10 yards. Be Stanford's ball, 1st and 10.
He goes to the other side this time.
Yeah, they were trying to fake him out there and act like he's going down the middle of the field and then just hook it over to the left side. And he just hooked it a little bit too much.
Kansas State still with 2 timeouts. Stanford with all 3 of theirs.
Certainly a long way from being over here with the way that this defense has played against the run game for this Stanford Cardinal.
1st down and 10 at the 41. Ball security important for Stanford here. McCaffrey. And McCaffrey! There it is. Over 100 yards. 14 straight games. Touchdown Cardinal. Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. Touchdowns of 41 yards and 35 yards. And Conrad Ukropina comes in for the extra point. And it's good. 2:12 to go in the 4th. Christian McCaffrey. (26-13). Stanford as the Cardinal, and that offensive line opening up another huge hole for McCaffrey. 126 yards rushing. However, Kansas State has made it difficult for him to get these numbers this evening.
Really just 2 big runs, you know, for the bulk of those yards. You take those 2 runs away, and Kansas State did an outstanding job, but credit Stanford and McCaffrey for keeping at it.
Cardinals send it away. Pringle. Let's take another look at the McCaffrey touchdown.
The key block is going to be the extra offensive lineman as he comes up, and he's actually going to block the linebacker, number 35, Will Davis. He scoops up and bang right there. That's where you see the block, and that's where the hole is created. And then there's nobody after that. McCaffrey is gone. Nick Wilson is a reserve offensive lineman. He comes in as a tight end, and he gets the biggest block of the night, springs the Heisman hopeful for a touchdown and a scamper that puts him over the 100-yard mark.
Kansas State taking over. 1st down and 10 at the 21. Ertz under pressure, gets it off to Charles Jones. Jones still running, picks up the first down. Tell you what, though, this Kansas State team has shown some signs that they have a chance, taking on the 8th ranked team in the nation, week 1, to be very good. Ertz on the move. And he'll pick up the first down as Burton makes the catch. A gain of 12.
It was really the story of 2 plays for Kansas State, the missed field goal and then the no call at the end of the half. It would have changed the entire complexion of the game. They would have had a lead before that. It never would have had to been in a situation where they had to try an onside kick.
First down and 10 to the 46. But you can see Ertz's confidence growing. Goes through his progressions and incomplete. That one thrown a little bit high for Zuber.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing is around the Big 12 collectively, all the coaches going, oh boy, they're going to be good again this year.
Yes.
Because they're going to have to face this team who's methodical and tough and hard-nosed. No give up in them. This is a typical Bill Snyder team. Like I said before, Gus, and I'll reiterate it. I see 8 or 9 wins for this Kansas State team, maybe even more. I think they're a very quality team.
2nd and 10. Ertz again. Near side incomplete, but this is not the year, according to the Kansas State people. Next year is the year that Kansas State, they feel, will be very, very, very good.
Well, they're saying that because this is actually the youngest 2 deep that Bill Snyder has ever had at Kansas State in his 25 years. They've got 24 freshmen or sophomores in their 2 deep. Gus, 17 of those freshmen or sophomores on their offense.
3rd down and 10 at the 46. Ertz to the far side and incomplete. And Dominique Heath took a hit. Elijah Holder lays him out. And Dominique will have a conversation with his quarterback later on this week.
And he should. And that's something that has really left the game of football as we've gotten towards forcing the defender to protect the defenseless receiver, and we don't force quarterbacks to protect receivers like we used to. When I cut my teeth, it was my responsibility to keep my wide receiver safe, not the defensive player's responsibility, and that's an unintended consequence of these targeting rules.
Here's Ertz again, and this time it's caught. Nicely done as Sutton makes the grab and picks up a first down.
Corey Sutton is a true freshman, and they are very high on him. You can see why. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, very tall, athletic. He graduated high school early, so he's actually been in Manhattan, Kansas the entire spring. They love his ability. You can see why on the last play.
A 28-yard gain. Here's Ertz looking, throwing in the end zone. Incomplete. Contact made. Pringle, the intended receiver. Holder has been all over him this evening.
He has, and he's had the benefit of an officiating crew that has allowed a bit of contact. You know, pass interference really, Gus, to go to a sport you love, is a lot like basketball, because sometimes they let them get away with contact, sometimes they don't. In my mind, that's pass interference. I would agree with you. Before the ball gets there, we saw Holder tackle Pringle in the end zone earlier. He's gotten away with a couple blatant ones in the end zone.
2nd and 10 at the 26. Ertz drops off a screen to Jones, and Jones wrapped up quickly. Nicely done defensively. Okereke with the tackle.
I mean, just those 2 plays, even if you, everything else being equal, those 2 plays, which are officials' decisions, how different does this ball game look?
Third down and 17. Jesse Ertz with time. Big throw. And incomplete. Intended for Corey Sutton again.
And again, contact before the ball arrived in the end zone.
When you look at the Stanford roster, you see players from everywhere. Texas, Nebraska, Tennessee, Hawaii, Georgia, Idaho, Oregon, Ohio, California, North Carolina, Louisiana. 4th and 17. Jesse Ertz taking his time, surveying. Ertz spinning, Fran Tarkington-like, but this time he'll be sacked. Kalimbayi drags him down, 8th sack of the evening, and Stanford will win their season opener against Kansas State.
Kalimbayi, they're counting on him to have a big year. A Buckus Award watch list player. He's all Pac-12 preseason by several publications, and just an effort sack there as Bill Snyder has a teaching moment with his new quarterback Jesse Ertz.
So Stanford in the victory formation as the Cardinal take a knee with 30 seconds to go. Coach Shaw pleased. He had an opportunity to see some very good things from his inexperienced quarterback. Ryan Burns did a very nice job. 16 straight home wins against non-conference opponents for Stanford. Burns 14 of 18, 156 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey 22 carries, 126 and 2 TDs. Stanford defeats Kansas State.
Thanks so much, Rob. You know, Coach Shaw, the second half of this game for you was to see how your team could finish. How would you characterize what you saw?
Not up to our standard. You know, we played hard, which is our standard. We didn't play very smart, and we didn't play very well at times. We had 2 chances to throw touchdown passes, and our protection failed us. A couple of really close runs that we weren't one broken tackle away from breaking them. But we played hard, and we played to the end.
Why do you think that was?
Well, first of all, you get a good team that's well coached that is not going to quit. They're going to keep fighting. And when you play against a team like that, you better match their effort at the very minimum and then execute. And I think we matched their effort. We didn't execute as well as we could have.
And your quarterback play, where did you gain confidence in him tonight?
Very impressed. I think both guys played well. I think Ryan handled all the things we threw at him. Went out there and for a long time didn't throw incompletion. And played well. Played very well.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you, Rob.